Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome back to the Outpost. I'm glad that you had time today to stop by. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm filling up all of my containers because fuel prices now are very low, and so I thought I would take advantage of that. I've got all of my equipment full, and as soon as I go back and refill this, this was diesel fuel for the tractor, then I will have all my containers full of diesel and gasoline as well. As you can see this morning, we've got clear blue sky, so I'm thankful for that. I'm going to go ahead and put these back up, and I'll be right back. I guess you've noticed that I don't have these long extensions on here anymore, and what I have done is I have cut them off. I decided to go ahead and leave them on here, and I cut them off just up above this right here, and I left 18 inches on both sides. And so what I intend to do is get some tubing a little bit smaller than this. I'm going to tap some holes on the back here along with the extension that I cut off, tap some holes in there to where I can fit some smaller tubing down in here and be able to put that together and bolt that, and I will be able to use that again because it really came in handy. Also, it's just another place for me to be able to hook things to right here. It also provides another place for me to carry something right in here if I have it like at this angle, if I needed to load something on and pick it up without actually having to strap it on there. So it does come in really handy. I've actually had a lot of comments on that extension that I put on here. We did a video on how I put it on here, so those of you who are interested, you don't have to write comments and ask. There is a video, you go back and look. It was around last fall, last summer sometime, on putting an extension onto the tractor. But yeah, I decided to go ahead and leave those on there because it came in so handy. Well, what I've got planned today, my daughter and my son-in-law, they're on their way up here. I do have a carry-all that goes on the back of the tractor that I've got two 55-gallon barrels in. And I've also got a water pump that I set on top. I'm going to go up to my sister's house and pick it up and bring it up here because when I start washing these timbers down, especially on the bottom where the red clay was bouncing against them, so that I can treat them with linseed oil. And then I want to give the tractor a thorough cleaning because it hasn't been cleaned all winter long. So my daughter, she's going to bring her pressure washer with her, and I'll be able to get that done. And those logs that you've seen over there, we're going to put those on the mill and start milling up some siding and some 2x4s for the walls. I'm going to go ahead and try to get things together here before they come, and we'll get busy today and see what we can accomplish. This is a carry-all that I made. I've got two 55-gallon barrels in the back with water, and that probably, the carry-all and that probably weighs close to 1,000 pounds when those barrels are full. Here is a small garden hose that I've got with a handle on the end of it. This right here is a water pump, and basically what I do is I just turn this thing around, stick it down inside the barrel, crank this thing up with the hose on the end of it, and that provides me water pressure to do some certain things, you know, like pouring a slab of concrete, or I brought it up here to actually wash these posts off before I put linseed oil on them, because with that new roof on there, the rain came down, hit the red clay, and splashed it back on the posts. Then he brought his pressure washer up here so that I can hook it to this, because I'm also going to give this tractor a bath. It hasn't had a good washing all winter long, and I had it down in the muck and the mire, so that needs cleaned off. This will be the first time that this has been cranked up for about a year. I did prime my pump right here, so I'm going to stick this down the barrel. We'll see if we can't get it started. Brought this log in here and I'm going to cut it up, but the pine is a little bit harder to cut than the poplar because of the sap on the inside. It kind of gums the blade up some more, so I thought I would start out with a fresh sharp blade to do that pine with. They had sharpened some blades for me one time, but they didn't set them and they wouldn't cut. And I don't know if this is one of them, but we'll find out. So when you take your blades back, you have to ask them to sharpen and set, because the set is more expensive. You've also got to watch when you open these things up, because they can jump back and get you. Okay, now before I tighten that up, just like when I get ready to use the sawmill, I give these wheels a shot of grease. I always generally give it a little bit more oil. I know I don't have to, but keeping things lubed up is the name of the game. So I try to move all the spots that move. Turn it around. Then I take this, put it in the side, give it a couple of turns, and wrong way. There we go, there's that one side. Okay, that just a hair. Alright, that makes them both about the same. Here we go. All right, boys. Well, I had a bit of a rush of company a little bit earlier, but they just all left. I tried to use my son-in-law while I could to rotate this because this was a really good sized log several times before he had to leave. Anyway, what I've got now is a square cant, and it measures 10 inches by, what did I end up with here? 13. So what I'm going to do now is start milling this down into 1-inch boards. This is going to be for my siding. Some of these, you know, where the windows or doors go, like this portion right here, I might be able to use from here back or from there down because the boards will be shorter, and then save the better boards that are inside of here for the long runs. I'm going to go ahead and get the saw fired back up and see if we can't bust us out some 1x10s. See how gorgeous that is? Yeah, that's really pretty. So these are all 1x10s, and I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, because we had one that was 10x13. The only one that's really not any good is this one on top, but I can probably use it if I flip it over for something either a shorter run, or I can mill it down to something that I can use trim with. But this one right here, I think I can get a 10 out of it. I think I can get a 10 out of the one on the bottom of that if I run them back through and cut the live edge off. So this tree yielded quite a bit siding for the cabin. I believe that these two stacks right here would go from the bottom all the way up. So if I could find trees like this, then it wouldn't take too many and I'd have all the siding cut. And I still have underneath my gable ends to do, but you know, that's not going to take a great deal. Yeah, I've got some other big ones over there that will turn out quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of the way, and I'm going to get over there. Since I washed those posts, they're dried up. I'm going to see if I can't at least do the bottom with linseed oil, and then what I think I'm going to do is get some cling wrap and wrap around the bottom of the post. That way the mud and stuff, you know, through the summer until I get that bottom fixed like I want it, they won't get all dirty and me have to wash them off again. So okay, I actually got a small roller right here, and this little pan, and we'll see how this will do. I didn't know if it could roll on easier or brush on. Well, actually it's rolling on pretty well. So we'll just keep going with it. Yeah, like I said, 5 gallons of that was about $200, so hopefully that will be enough to do what I've got. The other actually had a mixture of this linseed oil and tung oil, so it should probably be better. But this is actually going on really well, so I'm excited about that. This is my 6th one. This side of the house and the back side was actually a little bit too wet to get the tractor in, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more on the outside and then the 2 on the inside, and that will be the first coat on all of these posts. So I've probably used maybe a half a gallon so far, so it's probably going to take a gallon. I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't quite a half a gallon. Those other posts are actually really looking nice. So when I get a couple of coats on all these posts, I think they're really going to look great. I'm glad I burned this to try to pre-seal it, because the pine that I was cutting over there, it will actually stain. I'm going to use a very light stain, but more or less a clear coat. And it will turn dark yellow, and I think that it'll be a really nice contrast to these poplar posts that have been burnt. And I may even, I've been thinking about it, I may even kind of pre-treat those just a little bit, like a little bit of flame brushing, not too much, but just enough to you know, tell that you have run a flame over it. Because I thought, well, you know, it really looks so good when you do it, that yellow, if there was some black spots on it, like it had been burnt, I think that would really look cool. So I'm really thinking about that more and more. Well, hey guys, I hope that you enjoyed watching me get caught up here today. Had a couple of pieces of equipment that I needed to get up at my sister today. One of them is the bush hog. Then the other was that carry-all that you've seen that have the 5-gallon barrels in it, so that I could actually use my water pump to pump water. It's getting on up into the day. I got to run up here and see my neighbor because one of the subscribers asked about a knife just like the one that I have and my son has. He's wanting one made, so I told him that I would get the email address so that they can get in touch with each other. But I'll be back up here tomorrow. We'll be filming again. I'll probably throw some more logs on the sawmill and start cutting some more siding for the cabin and some 2x4s and things as I go along. I've still got this other sawhorse that I need to make, but you know, I might save that for a rainy day since that's something that I can actually do on the inside. Hope everyone has a great evening. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you back up here at the outpost in the future.